Hi, this is Jason with Violator Comics Collectibles coming at you from the toy review. This time we're taking a look at the Star Wars The Last Jedi Obi-Wan Kenobi figure. And this is from the Star Wars The Last Jedi toy line from Hasbro from 2017. So the first thing we're going to do is take a closer look at the packaging. Alright, so taking a look at the packaging, pretty standard for The Last Jedi. It's got that white background with the red Star Wars logo. It's got a really nice picture of the character that you're purchasing. So in this case, we got Obi-Wan Kenobi on the right, as portrayed in the picture by Sir Alec Guinness. With this figure, I hope we're going to see some kind of iteration of Obi-Wan Kenobi in the movie. I'm assuming they would have to almost go with Ewan McGregor if they were going to do that, or at least maybe some kind of voice. Just like they have the Yoda figure. I really hope we see them as Force ghosts, but who knows? That might just be that they're putting characters out. I know that in Wave 2 they do have another Jyn Erso figure, so obviously she's not going to be in the movie. But I'd like to hope that that's why we're seeing this figure. But going back to the figure, so you can see the nice picture of Obi-Wan Kenobi. It says Obi-Wan Kenobi. It says the Force Link because this is a Force Link figure. As we go on to the back, same thing. The top half is basically just an ad for the Force Link device, and as well as it has the StarWars.com and StarWars.Hasbro.com's information and a bunch of safety information. And that's pretty much it for the packaging. Very bland on the back, but I do love the front of these packaging. But most importantly is, let's get this guy opened up. Alright, so getting the Obi-Wan Kenobi figure out of the package. Pretty nice looking figure. I do like this guy. So obviously this is the Sir Alec Guinness model of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it looks great. Now it does have a cloak which is kind of removable. You can possibly get it off. I think you'd have to stretch it to get this off right here. But I mean, this part does come off, exposing his head. It's very difficult to do that. I couldn't really do this in the video, so I'll have to do this closer up just to show the detailing in this character. But I mean, his head mold is actually really, really nice, but it's blocked by the hood substantially. But his head does turn, so he's got articulation in the head, which is pretty standard for these 3 3/4 inch figures. His arms do move up and down, and then his legs do move, but he suffers from that, we started to see this in the Force Awakens with the Kylo Ren figure, this awful looking cloak type articulation, which is just really, really sad. They used to do it where this was one big solid piece. They don't do that anymore. They just leave it the way it is. And his cloak does come out, and you can kind of expose the rest of his figure, which, he looks good for the most part. Now, articulation, he can hold his lightsaber with 2 hands, which is extremely rare, but it is kind of garbage, in all honesty. So his arms look like this. You can put the lightsaber in either hand, but as you put them up, they start to go closer to each other. So once they actually are close enough to each other, you can have him hold it with two hands. But it looks like he's basically sacrificing himself at that point in the movie, in the A New Hope. But it looks decent. It's cool that he can do that. And like I said, you can do a one-handed thing. So I guess he's got a leg up from a lot of the other figures we do see where they just suffer from that arm by the side, and it's just like a chopping motion is all they can do. I do like that they give him that option. This does look pretty good. The mold of the lightsaber looks good. Mine is a little bit bent, and I mean the blade is coming out of the package, but I think the mold and the thinness of the lightsaber, they did a great job actually recreating his style lightsaber, which is pretty hard to do because, you know, they make that neck real thin. They, you know, make it susceptible to being broken real easy. But let's take a closer look at each part. So here's that head. He's got those, you know, really nice piercing blue eyes, which I think are, you know, top notch on this guy. And as the hood goes under the back, it's just a hooded Obi-Wan Kenobi figure. I really wish they almost did what they did with the Wave 2 Luke Skywalker, where you could take this section of the hood off, but you cannot. See, this exposes his head, and you can see the mold is great on this guy. I think he looks really, really nice. I mean, his head looks great. The detailing in the hair, the face, I mean, everything looks good, but you wouldn't even know that because this hood is very difficult to pull back and it pops itself right back on, which is unfortunate. Here's that midsection, like I said. You know, he's got those arms that do go up, but when they come down, they come at his sides, which looks really nice. There is no, like, you know, hook for a lightsaber. His lightsaber does have a hook on it, but it's not functional. It's really tiny. It's, you know, it's not even showing up real well. Just barely. You can see it has a hole in it. But the lightsaber looks really, really nice. And like I said, you could have this in any hand you really want to. It looks cool in just one hand, but as you start to put it up, it does eventually, his hands go together. It's just the way that the figure's molded. But I think it looks pretty good. Like I said, I think that my major problem with this is I really wish they had that removable hood, so you could have a hooded and a non-hooded Obi-Wan Kenobi, because pretty much you never got that. You always got one or the other, and they're still continuing on this guy. And his feet suffer a lot from this type of modeling. You know, the cloak looks great on the back. Everything looks good. Like I said, this cloak does move, but this blocky looking mess, you know, is unfortunate. And, you know, I'd rather have it be a solid looking piece than have it with like his leg in there and then the cloak around it. I think it's just a big mess on this guy. So this is a Force Link figure. You can tell that by looking at the bottom of the foot, and you can see he's got that Force Link logo on his left foot, which is on the right of the screen right now. Not a great functioning toy for the Force Link, but you basically take this toy, turn it on, you put it on your wrist, which doesn't really work, so we're just going to put it up against the figure. You're supposed to be able to move it to get sound effects. The sound effects are very difficult to get it to happen, and it likes to say the same sayings over and over again.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now that's a name I've not heard in a long time. These aren't the droids you're looking for. I felt a great disturbance in the Force.
Let's see if we get to do it.
These aren't the droids you're looking for. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now that's a name I've not heard in a long time. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
You see it repeats the same thing over and over again.
In a long time.
I was actually able to get it to do a sound effect. That was the, you know, after trying it in multiple takes of this video, I actually got him to actually make the lightsaber noise. The one thing I really wish this device would possibly do is, like the Comtech chip reader from episode 1 is, once you scanned it, it had a button on it that you could cycle through all the sound effects and all the stuff. I don't know why they don't do that. I mean, I really wish they did that, because like I said, you know, he said the same saying probably about 3 or 4 times during this tiny little segment. And there's figures that I might not have ever even heard actually all the different things they say, just because of the way the device will keep on repeating the same things. It'll say the 1 or 2 things over again, and then 5 times later it'll say a 3rd thing you never heard before, or a 4th thing. And I never know, you know, if I'm actually showing you guys the correct amount of stuff, because even on the packaging, it doesn't tell you how many things he says. You know, episode 1, when you used to tell you on the packaging, used to tell you all the different sayings, and it's just unfortunate for this. Like I said, the only reason I have this is just for review purposes, to show you guys what this toy can do. I mean, I definitely didn't buy it for the enjoyment of it, because I definitely don't like that. And for size comparison, here we have Luke Skywalker from the Last Jedi toy line next to the Obi-Wan Kenobi figure from the Last Jedi toy line. And you can see that it looks like Obi-Wan is just a tad bit bigger. It might just be because of the hood. I mean, when you kind of line up the faces and look at them, they probably are about the same size. But they look really good. I really like this Obi-Wan figure. I really wish that, you know, he had something like this newer Luke Skywalker figure did, where you could pull this cloak off. I think that would probably make it one of the best standard 3 3/4 inch figures of Obi-Wan that we've ever gotten. But they didn't do that. I don't know why they didn't do that, but I really wish that would have been something they added. Other than that, it looks great. You know, articulation is pretty much standard for 3 3/4 inch stuff. You know, the molding down here, the way they did it, it's just something they continue to do, which I do not like, with that blockiness to it. I'd rather wish they didn't do it at all and just did a molded rubber. But I mean, if they could do something else, even just filling it in with solid plastic would have looked better than what they did here. But I love his lightsaber. Like I said, I like this. And I will say, his Force Link is probably the first human Force Link, other than like a masked Kylo Ren, which still sounds robotic. He sounds like Alec Guinness. He sounds exactly like Alec Guinness. It's almost an exact recording from the movies. I think that is fantastic. This is the first human character that I reviewed that actually sounds like what he's supposed to sound like, and I'm really happy for that. So as far as the Force Link's concerned with Obi-Wan, it is a, a dead-on, recreation of his voice, which is fantastic. But once again, this has been Jason with Violator Comics Collectibles. If you have questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and I'll see you guys next time.